Well, hello, it's me, the Mad Artist, on Matthew Martelli channel YouTube. And I hope you check out some of my other videos. But today we're going to do a nice little quick painting, and I wanted to show you how to do waves and sky. And we're going to have a little ship involved too, a sunken ship. And it's called the Wreck of the Esperanto. And I actually had painted a larger version of this, and I figured I'd do a smaller version just to show you how it's done. It could be a very interesting little video, and I hope you like it. So let's get going. Well, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get this picture. We're going to get the Wreck of the Esperanto, which just basically is the seal holes coming down, and we're going to put those into place first. We're going to put from here. Straight line coming down like this. This is just to stick it in. Let me get my stick here so I can be nice and straight. Basically, it's just taking this black and I'm making the mast of the ship. And that's going to go down over to about that point right here. I want to stop it right there because I want to have a little bit more water down here than actually in the picture. It's kind of thick, so we're going to go a little thicker. I'm not going to get into a lot of detail with this yet. We'll save that for after. This is just getting the mask in the right place. So when I start adding the sky, which I'm going to do first, you'll have an idea of where we're at. And I won't be painting on top of white with the black. I'll be able to just outline this a little bit. And like I said, we're just going to do a little rough. You're following the picture right here. There's a part that goes like this. And this comes down to about here. A couple of things that hang off the side there. This painting actually was a very big painting, and I ended up selling it in an auction at the Museum of Fine Arts spring auction, which was kind of very exciting. It was one of the only pieces that actually was picked for the spring auction to actually go into the the main auction, which was separate from the rest of the bidding auction that was taking place at the time. I'm babbling, but it was an exciting thing to do. Okay, now I see a thing going right across here like this, and then the rest of it comes down like this. The rest of the mask comes down like this, and ends up in the water. Piece here. I think there's a man right here. This looks like a man who's actually hanging on, and they're probably salvaging some of the wood and the ropes and everything from the wreck. Piece that goes like this. Now I'm going to take a little of the white and the black, and then come down like here. Just I'm not really filling this in yet. I'm basically just trying to get the mask in the right spot. And now there's a little dory that this guy was probably hanging on at the time. which seems to be right about, let me see, two lines coming down like this into the water, and then the dory front. The dory looks like goes up like this. When you're painting like this, and you're not sketching out the picture first, you get a lot of play. You got a lot of play on what's going on. Seems like there's a man right here. His shoulders first. Head. His back. And it goes right across like this. And you can see that there's dark in the water. That's the reflection in the water in the dark boat. Right here. Which will kind of go off in this direction. And this thing comes around the bow of the boat like this, and it goes right up to the back. And he's in here like this. And like I says, this isn't finished yet. This is just a rough base, so I can start working on the sky and the sea, because you're going to put the sky and the sea before I really get detailed. But we're going to get this in here, somewhat dark, and somewhat in the way that we want it to look. I like this picture because it's going to be a quick picture. It's more sky. Okay. Right here there's a, you know what? This guy's probably holding. Come down like this. Put a little white in here, a little color. A little York coming down. A little more white right there. And you want to make sure this goes dark. And you want to define the boat. We're going to change this a little bit. So, I mean, we're going to cut it to where we need it to be. And then there's the second, which is a little off. We're going to go straight down like this. This is the second mast. This is the second mast on this boat here. And we're going to come down like this, just like this. We're just doing a rough draft of these masts. We'll get into the detail once we get the sky and we get everything all kind of put together here. Goes like this, there's a little drop right here, dot right over here. And then it goes this could be a fun little picture to go. I'm going to take a little white. I'm going to do a touch of white right there. Just to give that mask a little definition. I want to give that mask a little definition. Okay. And now I'm going to try and cut it just a little bit better. Thing on the top here. I'm going to come down. I'm doing this with the number 2 brush, which we're going to go to the liner brush when we actually put the details in. Now here's a crucial part right here. We got to come across this picture at about this height right here. And this is going to be our water line right here. Just seems to start right about that point there. This is going to be our water line. And you want this to kind of be straight across. And I think, you know something, the best way to get this thing straight across, I'm going to show you in a minute. Okay, I'm back. And what I'm going to do is use the ruler this time. We're going to measure down. Okay, you know something? We're going to measure down 7 inches here. Got 7 inches there. And 7 inches right here. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is put the pencil in my mouth. I'm going to take a little black. And we're going to make sure we get a nice straight. This is the horizon line right here. We want to make sure it's a little straight. So we're going to go like this. Now we got the basic lines that we're going to need for this picture in order to get this thing going in the right direction. Now what I'm going to do, take the pencil out of my mouth for one thing, and I'm going to go through my wider brush right here. It's my number 4 brush. And I like using this for backgrounds, for water, for things like that. And we're going to dive straight into this white. And what we're going to do is we're going to make the sky a lot better than the actual sky. But first we're going to go right across the bottom here. I'm going to cut this over like this. I'm going to go right across the bottom with the white. Because that's going to be where a horizon line starts. And we want to have that lighter than the rest of the sky. It's going to gradually go up into a darker color. Get this side right here. And go right across there. And we want this white to be nice and white right at this bottom part here. So we just want to make sure we get the straight line first. If I can get rid of this now, and I can get my hand rest. It's a great little pen. Let me raise it up a little bit. For resting your hands on it. I'm going to take some water, some thinner. I'm going to take some thinner and thin this out a little bit. And basically we're going to start building this up a little. We'll get the sky nice first. We'll work on the sky first before we get onto the water, which is a little bit more complicated. The water is a little more complicated than the sky. Got more action, but not really, because I tell you the truth, I like to make like an active sky. I like storm clouds. I like things like that. They add feeling to the painting. You get a lot of feeling when you do that to the painting itself. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to get some feeling into this picture. Okay. Almost there with this. Because I want to do just the beginning of the water right here, so I can get my line. Established. So I get my nice horizon lines established in the painting. Okay. Now I'm going to take a little darker color, and I'm going to use a little thinner because I want it to be a little loose. Here's where I got to really stay nice and stiff. And I got to bring that line right across. and establish the horizon of the water and the sky where they meet. And you want that to be nice and pretty straight. You want that to be a little straight when you do that. Take a little bit more water, a little bit more of this, and come right across here. And this is going to be the horizon line of the ocean. There we go. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little bit more meat to it. Just to establish it. And down. And you can see why I put these masks in first, because those, you would not be able to put them in the right way if you put them in afterwards, because you'd be working on top of wet paint that probably would have really killed the dark color of them, you know? And you don't want that to happen. I'm not going to go crazy with the ocean here because we're not working on the ocean yet. We're not going to work on the ocean until I get the sky put in. But we'll get that horizon line anyway. And that's what we're looking for. Now the horizon line is not a straight line. It's going to be a little blurred. You want a little blurry line on there. So basically what you do is you take the brush with no paint on it and you kind of go nice and soft right across. What I just did, I took it and I'm taking this brush with not much paint on it and I'm basically just running it across the white and the gray of the horizon line. And what that does is that gives you a nice blurry line, because it's not a perfectly straight line to the horizon. It's a faded line. It's where you, there we go. Okay. It's where your water meets the sky. Now I got this white here. And my next move is clouds. I want a storm to be kind of rolling in from the left. We'll have a little storm rolling in from the left. And I want to put the white in because the darker colors are more dominant than these are. I'll have this white go right up to this mass, right here. Come on. And we'll have this white kind of scoop around. Now I'm not going to go crazy with the sky, with those clouds yet, because I really haven't established them yet. Because I want to get the next phase. And this I got to use the knife. I'll take some of this white right here, and I'll add a little black. And I'll work in a nice little light gray, like this. This is for the sky. Make this a little lighter. Because we're going to go in stages with the sky. We're going to build up stages of color, going up to a darker color. And this is where we paint this in. Makes it a little thinner, so it goes on nice and smooth. And we go, there we go. We cut this right, nice and line. Cut this line nice. to the mask. And then we're just going to paint this color in right about that height right there. We're going to come down and we're going to go right across like this. And I'm going to bring that right over to here. We're going to do this right across the whole picture. Right about this height right here with this color. Because this is, these guys kind of, they went out in their boat. Now they got caught in a little storm. It seems like there's a little bad weather rolling in. And we're gonna give them this bad weather. We're gonna give them this stormy cloud. This kind of stormy cloud thing going on. And we're gonna do the same thing here, only here we're gonna keep that white live. Those are the storm clouds that are gonna be coming in. And we're going to fill this in right here, the same as we did on this side. I'm going to fill this right in here like this. I'm going to do the same here. There we go, a little bit more, a little around here. I'm going to cut this nice and tight right there. And storm clouds coming in. Like I said, I'm not going to put those clouds in yet. I'm going to get the sky done first before I actually add those clouds in there. But I got the base of the clouds. I got the edge of the clouds where I want it. Now in reality, that doesn't look like the sky. Here's where you come into cross-hatching. I told you there's three basic strokes to painting. There's cross-hatching, there's the blurry line, and then there's the straight line. And these are the basic lines that you use. Cross-hatching is for mixing the paint. So basically what it is, you take the paint from here, and you bring it down here, and you go back and forth. And you're cross-hatching. Yeah, I'm going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and you do it lightly, you know what I mean, and you crosshatch. What you're doing is you're mixing that black, that color, with the white, and what you're doing is making a blend. And the more you crosshatch, the more blend you get out of this picture. The more the paints blend together. So we'll just crosshatch this all up like this. And it takes a little work. It takes a little work to crosshatch your solid, because you want this thing, you want it to look kind of like it's steamy at the edge of that, like there's some kind of fog or something at the edge of that horizon line. It gives it a nice little touch, it looks good. And it's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Because I want that white to kind of go down a little bit further down. But I had to go up higher only because I wanted to make sure that I had enough white in there to really make it blend with the gray I put in here. And you can see what's happening. See? You go the same thing over here. Crosshatch, crosshatch. Back and forth, back and forth. You gotta make sure you do it back and forth. Line up that mask. And this is just a mixing process. Like I said, we want this to look like a little steam over here. So with a little more gray on that part right there under the cloud. And now we just take our time, because you don't want to screw it up. You don't want to go too crazy. You can always fix it, but why fix it if you can do it right the first time right now? So I'm going back and forth, cross-hatching, 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 cross-hatching. And I want to make it the same kind of evenness as on this side over here. I want that steam, like that fog from the sky at the fog from the sky from the horizon line I want that to be right near down close to the water. And we can do that. You see how it's happening. Back and forth, crosshatch, crosshatch. And as you crosshatch, to get the brush strokes out, you just go a little lighter and lighter each time. So now, like I'm saying, I'm going light. I'm not putting as much pressure to the crosshatch. I'm just trying to wipe out those brush marks. You want to keep a few of them there because they look nice, but you don't want a lot of them. And you want to make sure that this has like a steamy look to it. That's where you want a little bit more brush strokes. Now right here, because these clouds are coming down this way, I got to take a little bit more dark color, the gray of the sky, and we'll crosshatch that right into here like this, and get this side done. There we go. I'm going to put a nice little straight line next to that, and we crosshatch this one. There. Now, it's starting to look a little like sky. So what's our next step? Our next move, we take this paint right here, which is this color right here, and we put that down right here. We take a little bit more white just to make sure that we have enough paint. Add a little to it. And we're going to make this paint right here. We're going to add a little bit more black, ivory black, because I always use titanium white and ivory black. And we're going to make the sky a touch darker. So now we got a darker sky. Because things are getting ominous out there. Sky's getting, we're going to add a little thinner just to make it flow better. And then we do the same thing. We take this, and we're going to do it from here because the top of it I want it to be a lot darker. And I'm going to try and cut this a little straighter right here along the mass. And I do the same thing. Right across the thing, I paint a layer of this color, this gray. I paint a layer of this gray right across here. A little thinner. But I'm leaving this 1 inch or so. That's because I'm going to put a little even darker gray in there. We come to this side, and I want to cut that mass right here. I want to make sure that this mass gets cut right nice and even. Okay. We're going to go over that with the straight line, but you want to get your perimeters set. And what do we do? The same thing, only right here, right? And these are little clouds right here. The clouds, you got to be real careful. You got to be real careful when you're working with the clouds because you can mess them up real good. So you got to really make sure that your strokes are the right strokes. And the best way to do that is just take your time when you're making those strokes with those clouds. Because you want to sit back and kind of look at it and say, okay, was that the right stroke? You know what I mean? And you want it to really kind of look like a cloud and blend. We do the same thing here. We go with this dark right here. And like I said, nice and easy. Nice easy strokes. And we go with this dark paint. Alright. And what do? We start cross-hatching again. We bring that dark down here and this lighter color up above. So you're going back and forth, and you're blending this color in. Cross-hatching. It's good to practice cross-hatching. And cross-hatching can take, the more you cross-hatch, the more blended the sky will come. So if you're looking for like a rough painting, you could cross-hatch and make a rough painting. If you want it more finer and more like mixed, you just keep on going. but you go back and forth with an angle like this, like a crisscross. Because it gives it that nice blend look. And you don't have straight brush strokes showing. You have rough cross strokes going. And they mix right in. You bring it right down. You want to make sure everything's even. So basically you're taking it, you want to make sure everything's even so you can even take it down further than you actually did on the first one. And you want to take, once you get this white on this pink, so I got some white on there, I got a lighter color, you bring it back up. You go dark, you go light, you go dark, you go light. Then you work it right in, and you get it right up to the point where, now I'm doing a little lighter strokes because I want to get rid of some of these stroke marks. And I want to make sure that the blend looks nice. Now I'll start on this side. Same thing. Back and forth, down and up. And I'm going back, I'm going back, this way, this way, this way. It's like doing a cross hatch. That's why we call it cross hatching. Well, that's why I call it cross hatching. And that's what it is, it's cross hatching. And basically what you're doing is you're mixing this paint into a blend, like skies usually are. You'll see some spots that need to be a little bit more darker than others, you know. And you can just keep playing with it, back and forth, back and forth. I'm going to do a rough part of this. Probably refine it a little later, because when you're working with oil paint, you can refine this stuff a little later because it stays wet. So you can actually do your cross hatching for quite a while and come back to certain things too. Like right here, I can see that the white needs to be more blended right in this area right here. And that's when I'm starting to go a little lighter now, and I'm staying down toward the bottom. I want to put a little dark right there. That's how the sky is. That's where that line is. Okay. Now my next move, we take a little more black and we add it to that paint that I just did. And now we got a darker gray. Now if I was going to paint this color, I would paint this all just like this white, and I would glaze those blue colors and those greens and what makes a sky right over the top of these things. And you'd have a better idea exactly what you're doing with it. Now let me see, is this dark enough? Yeah, that's dark enough. That's the dark I want to. What I didn't do is I didn't clean my brush. So I was still getting a little too much light. Now I want to take this top of this mass and I'm going to paint right across like that. I'm going to have a nice dark area right there. And I'm going to go right across this. I'm going to do the same thing right up to here. And see how I have this little white cloud right here? Well, the dark's going to go on top of that. Because that's just like a trail end. That's the cloud moving across the sky, coming toward us. That's that little stormy cloud that's starting to form. Because these guys, they're going to get stuck in a storm. They weren't watching the weather. And the weather's rolling in on them. And this black, this darker gray, you got to put a little underneath here, right here, because of this white right here on this cloud. You can't take this black, this darker gray and bring it down to this gray. It doesn't work. Then we cross hatch. So here we go. Cross hatch, cross hatch, cross hatch, cross hatch. And I'm cross hatching the heck out of it. Okay? And I'm going very light near the clouds, because I want those clouds to have definition, and I don't want them mixed too much. I want them to be like a rough mix. And you can see the sky now. It's starting to look like a sky, isn't it? Like I said, this is going to be a quick little picture. The real work's in the water more than it is in the sky. Skies are fun though. Because look at this, I get this nice dark color. And now I'm bringing it down here. And I'm pulling it down with this cross-hatching into this lighter gray. And you can see how it blends nice. And I'm doing this with the number 4 brush, the thicker brush. Because if you were doing it with the number 2 brush, you'd probably be here forever, but you'd have a tighter crosshatch. That crosshatch I'm usually doing, I'm doing a portrait or something, I'm doing the skin, I'll use the 2-inch. I mean the number 2 brush. No, 2 inches, it's just called the number 2 brush. Each brush has a number. It's a number 2 flat brush, this is a number 4 flat brush. I love these brushes. Okay. Here's the stock color right here. Coming through. You could put a sun in here if you wanted to, but I'm going with the clouds. And now you see here, right here, it's a little too dark right there. I want to take some of this white here. I want to blend it a little better. I want to take that and blend that up a little better. I want to take some of these strokes out of here. So right now I'm doing it very lightly because I want to get some of these strokes out of this picture. But I want this dark to be even too. I want it to come down. You can see what's going on. Now none of these colors are actually a solid color anymore. Now that they're a mixture of the different shades, the different values of the black and the gray going into each other. That's all black and white is. It's great. Look, see? I got a little mask on there. I gotta go like this, so I gotta fix that. I gotta go crosshatch, bring it down, get some lighter paint on here, bring it up. And it's just a lot of work. It's a work, you know, it's a work. That's to get the blend of the sky, you gotta do a little work. That's worth it. Alright, I like that. It's starting to look okay. Now you really got to clean the brush good with the odorless paint thinner now. And I'm diving into this white. And here we go. Want this mass to be a part of the cloud. And that's difficult because you want the cloud to be behind the mass. So you gotta make sure that it is behind the mass. And it's even on both sides, like this. Because you want to look like, you want to make it look like the cloud is behind that. You take some white here and we come right down. And we bring this white right as the pure white, right down into this, toward this horizon line. Now put a little more white up here. Because I'm going to be adding some darker colors to these clouds. They're not just all white. But you want to get the white in first because the white is white's white. The darker colors will dominate that white and really do a job on it. You want these little clouds that are like the clouds feeding in. Rolling in from the left of the painting. You want to be real light. You want to be real light with these. Okay, and I'll take a little darker paint now. We'll go into that cloud. Like I said, the clouds are kind of, you want to make sure that each brush stroke when you're doing the clouds means something. Because you can really make soup. You don't want to make the clouds into soup. You want to see that misty look. Because clouds are water. That's what they are. I'll take a little more dark color right here and bring it around. I want a little more white over here. These are billowy clouds. So it'll be a little billowy. I'll take a little more of the dark. Because everything casts a shadow. Even clouds cast a shadow against each other. The light's hitting the front of the clouds. And it's also going into the back of the clouds. But you want them to look even. You want it to look like a cloud. You gotta think cloud. Okay. With that white. Very easy. More white. I like this white. To really define these clouds. And you see how it's starting to have a nice little cloud effect here. I'm going to take some more white, and I'm going to be needing more white soon on my palette. There you go, like that. The rest of it, now I want to get down here where you go to the edge. You want because the clouds are coming in like that. And then you little dark right here. Right in front of it. See that? Little. Time to get there. The white like this. Now I'm going to go into my white, get a little bit more white here. I guess it's this little dot. I just put all that gray into the white. Okay, let's get that out of there. And then I'm going to take a big dab of white and I'm going to stick it right there because I'm going to be playing with this white quite a bit. Now I'm going to take this white. And I'm going to make our billowy clouds more billowy. You know, lay it on sometimes, you know. A little brown, the darker color. And sometimes that dark from the cloud shines in from behind. You can do that. Right? That's a break in the cloud, a little darkness right here. We're going to do the same thing right over here. And here's, like I said, you got to be really careful because you don't want to overmix this stuff. You want these clouds to back to the white, put this dark there. Okay. More white. Because right now the wind's blowing. It's blowing these clouds right across this. Right across this sky. Okay, I got my big brush, my rag, and we're still doing the white. Still white to be put in here. And the white gets less and less. It's still there, but it's more sporadic as you go work your way over. You want this kind of even out. Right here. A little white right there. Okay. Maybe a little less white, a little less, Small strokes with the white now, right here. Now I'm going to take a little of this darker color here. See these bald spots I got right here? Here's where we start making some waves. Working our way in. And you see how that works. Start from the top here. You can actually make this a little lighter. You have to dark later. Like this one. Put a wave like right there. See how the definition of the wave starts to take a little effect. Right here, let's see some black. You see right here? It's a little blurry. That's casting the shadow. Right here, this is going to cast the shadow. Of the mask, with the sunken mask. And the same with the boat. Little dark pieces right here and everything right to the edge. What it's doing is it's casting the shadow. This will also cast the shadow. You use black for that. Might as well get it in now because you want it to work right. And you can see, because of the waves, the shadow is a little sporadic. Because it has depth. There's a lot of movement up and down. You know, a little dark right here, and then nothing, and then a little dark, and then nothing, and just working its way like that. You slowly work your way out like this. Now we get back into these waves here. Keep looking okay. And they get smaller as you go up higher. I want these waves to be a little lighter because I don't want them to interfere with that dark. You want to try and get that movement, the water. You want to get that water movement. Working it nice and slow up the top. You know, come right into that. Get a little more white. You're going to redefine these waves as they come along. You're going to work them. Work the waves. You can see how it gets a little darker as it goes up near the top. Keep them light right now, because you're going to add those darker colors in after. The waves are getting a little rough. Rough waves right there. You can see how I'm just trying to fill in the colors. I'm trying to get rid of all the orange. That's my base. But I want to stay a little darker. As we go up into these waves. That's the end. Same up here. A little bit more. You can see how they're smaller. You're slowly building up your waves to be a little smaller. There's always a little action in all waves. Okay, we're going to get a little lighter color. And you see I'm getting rid of all the orange color here to a certain extent. You see all that dark? Yeah, a lighter gray. I'm working it in. And I'm doing this all with my number 4 brush, my bigger brush. So the detail isn't coming yet. Gotta have that light color, that white. There's a little more white. But it gets darker up here, which is nice. You can see that. Start putting in that little darker color. Show you how the dark looks like. Thought you had to work the sky, you really got to work the waves. The waves got a shadow underneath them as they curl. And as they get up closer, higher, there's more and more of them. And they're smaller. And they follow each other. You see how this wave right here goes this way, and this wave right behind it. And then you'll see another wave go right behind that one like this. You know. There we go. You want these waves to like move themselves down this way. It's just nice and white. Look, I need more white, more white. So let me get these waves right here a little better. More dark right here. The wave piling out. And you can see how the waves are starting to actually take a dry brush down. Just play with them. You want to blend. You want them to blend. You want to make sure that they have some kind of depth. Now, as you can see, as we add more and more of these dark lines in here, the sea is starting to take on some definition. But it's got to be even. You got to make sure it's even. And you want these waves to have a little play in them, you know? Like a wave would have. Now, as far as this all comes, this part of the picture right here will all be done with a finer brush to get the detail. Right now I'm just playing with lighter shades of gray, and I'm trying to sneak around and fill in those little spots, maybe a little lighter. Fill in those little spots where the white isn't, where the orange is. Where the oranges? Losing my mind. Okay. And like I said, we're going rough right now. We just got to go a little rough with this right now. But you still don't want to make a mess, so you kind of want to keep the bearings on you. Keep your white working. Back and forth. A little darker here with this one, like I said. A wave. You want the shadow of the boat? Now we're going to get the shadow of the boat. See, the boat's right there. See that guy's head right there. Shoulders. And even the shadow's going to be like kind of rough. Coming right up over there. Go with this little lighter color right here as you work your way up. Then we'll get into those darker colors afterwards. And the lighter colors. Because you want the spray of that water, you know? And you can see how like more areas are going to be darker. Toward this side of the picture, working our way down this way. When you're starting to get the idea how these waves are going in there. But these waves can be a little tedious, so you know what we're going to do? We're going to speed it up a little bit till we get to a certain point where we're starting to put the fine detail to the picture. Okay, I got most of the ocean kind of filled in, and now we're going to start going into a dark. Because the ocean is going dark as the storm is coming up from this area right here. And here's where we actually take our time, because we want to make sure that we get this water to really look like water. There's a lot of dark spots. And they trail off. They trail off like this. You have to work in one area and work your way out. And you see how dominant this dark is. That's why you put that on last. You put the dark on last. It's a very dominant color. You take these little darker spots. You start filling them in. These dark waves. And like it says, as you go to the top, the waves get smaller. I like to get this whole top part kind of taken care of. You put a little curve to the waves, like see, right here, it's going to be a dark wave. That's the shadow being cast. It's the shadow being cast as the waves curling. And there it goes lighter and blends out. Now you go back to them. Go into that dark. Go back to the mask again. Okay, here we go. Want that nice and straight. And then we throw that shadow in again. There goes the dark. It really gets very slight choppy right here, because if you get to the top, like I was saying before, these waves are smaller. They're more in the distance. There's a lot of waves, there's a lot of them. Getting choppy. These guys shouldn't be out here right now. The weather's starting to pick up on them. The waves are going to start getting higher. There's that shadow. You want to get that shadow. Being cast by the sunken mass. When you're doing the waves, at the bottom of these dark spots, as I'm throwing them in, you always blend it a little right there, and you leave the tops a little more solid. Because that's where the wave's cresting, that's where the shadow would be. Just blend. Okay. Blend the bottom a little. Like that. And also, when you're working on these masks, you want to make sure that these waves come right up to the mask. And you want to make sure they look like they're behind it. That's why I didn't go. We got the mask where we want it, but we didn't go into a lot of detail with that mask. We're jumping on top of it a lot. Blend. Shadow. Okay, I think I'm going to go in a little hyperspace with this waves. Alright, you're getting the idea of what I'm doing with these waves here. And basically, I'm just playing with them. I'm looking at the picture a little bit so I get a little idea of how I want these waves to go, because I'm getting a little, idea of how I want these waves to go, because you want to have them uniform and everything else. And it's starting to look rough. We're starting to look like an ocean. Sky's starting to look nice. We got some dark areas right up in here. We're going to work with those. We're starting to have a pretty good picture here. Okay, a little more darker right over here. And crosshatch. Remember the crosshatch. Crosshatch. Okay, I think I'm going to go a little bit more into hyperspace, so you actually got the idea how this is going to be working. Ball right there. Come down like this. And you want to stay right on that pencil groove that I cut in there. That's our straight line. You learn how to cut lines a little better. I'm rushing a little bit, and it's wet. I would normally probably wait till this thing's really dried before I actually cut these lines in. But I want you to see how it's working. And we can always go back to it. You can always go back to the painting and fix the little things, like these lines here. Right now I'm going to try and do them because it's good practice. Doing it when it's wet. If you're doing a demonstration like this, you want to make sure you get the whole picture finished. And sometimes it's just a rough finish, but it's finished. You can see how these lines really make this picture look incredible, don't they? The ropes from the mast. You can see how they go into the sea. So, this one got right there. Oh yeah. Right down. Right into the water. And this one does go into the water. It goes into the water right there. Okay. See, I screwed this up a little bit when I was doing that. I'll take my fine brush and I'll fix that. So I'll take this flat brush, my number 4 brush, and I'll cut that off, and I'll cut this little piece right here. Clean that up. I'm going to clean this up. This little knot right up here. And now we got to get into this boat a little bit more. Looks like this. A white part here. I'm going to feed this boat right here. Seems to have a square top, and then this one comes down like this. Okay. this side of the boat comes down. Okay. Cut across. Yeah. Comes down straight, very straight. Now you can fix that. When our boat doesn't have a curve, that's straight. You take the dot, and run a line right down. Past it. Here's the guy in the boat. Seems to be working before us. The back of the boat doesn't just quite look right, so we take some dark paint. But this thing's actually got an anchor going in the water. And this one back right here has a little curve to it. And it goes right in there, nice and cool. Back. Shot. Being cast. The front of the boat, shadow up of it. Lighter color, very light. Right across. Well, we're getting close to the end of this, and basically we're just finishing cutting in these lines. A loop right there of the Esperanto, a wreck of the Esperanto. And you can see how those lines from the masts, the ropes, really make this picture come to life. And the little highlights and the little darks and lights. And the storm coming in from the sea. And it's a great little picture. So I guess that about does The Wreck of the Esperanto by the Mad Artist. And I hope to see you for some more videos. And I hope you really enjoyed this. And peace and love. And I hope everybody had a good time, because I sure did. Bye now.